Howdy, YouTube. I'm going to give people my little bit of a review here on the CTC prusa i3 clone 3D printer. We'll just start from the very start from when I got it. Like when I got the thing, it was a little beat up on the box, as we can kind of see, like right here. I did send this stuff to the seller to tell him, like, hey, look, this thing can't beat up, but this is after, because when I got the thing, I noticed the chair lower, maybe not, but I noticed that this right here is cracked. This is when I was unboxing it. I'm like, well, shoot. So I kept unboxing it, and then I noticed this motor bracket back here. It was broke. As you can see, it's zip tied. Kind of see. There's a zip tie on it. I had to do a zip tie because it wasn't staying. The motor was about to fall off of there. And that belt tensioner, weak plastic, it broke. So I had to zip tie it. On the hot end, here's the old one that come with it. Just the way it's designed. Actually, once you figure out your nozzle depth and all that goodness, it'll actually start printing well and getting your heat break set just right. It's actually not easy. It's a very tough spot to get it all set up. I could do another video of the extruder that come with it. This thing, it just was always having trouble to keep feeding filament, ending up with plastic all over. So I had to almost immediately print this. It's called the Replicator 2 for CTC, or like the Replicator, but it worked. It actually worked pretty well, but I had to modify the heat sink. I had to drill a hole next to the hole so this screw would fit in that slot when it was all together. I had no choice around it. I had to. And the reason I just went ahead and did these modifications and stuff is because when I got the product, I waited. I ordered on the 7th and it was rushed to me. I got it on like the 14th. And I wouldn't say any of these problems are CTC manufacturer, and there's still more problems to go to list, but I wouldn't say it's CTC's fault, and I wouldn't say it was the eBay seller's fault. I would say that's FedEx. I dislike FedEx because I've gotten a lot of packages from them that are beat up, and in like this case, I really wanted a 3D printer, and I waited and I saved up and got the money gathered up, and then through selling stuff on eBay, put the money back into eBay and bought something. Really wanted a 3D printer, waited and to get it, got it. And so I was anxious to get one and get it set up, and I knew when I was buying a cheap one that there are certain things that are going to be cheap. Did look into a few reviews. People don't like the wood frame that it is, and I can see why to a point. It's kind of worked for me, other than like that back Y-axis motor that totally needs an upgrade by manufacturer. I can't believe they're okay with that even. Why not some kind of mount to help hold that thing? A zip tie works though. If you get one, zip tie it, because it's going to break on you while you're using it. It showed up broke, and I swapped over to the other one, and literally first print I could see the motor moving, so I zip tied it to keep it from moving because it was causing belt tension issues. The extruder, I mean, all these problems were within the first 3 days, and the extruder was like right away. It's here. We'll go in and show all my failed parts. All my failed parts. Here's the very first test cube I printed as soon as I got the machine. Can maybe kind of see the like lines and stuff. I mean, straight out of the box I was like, oh, okay. Measured okay. I made a few adjustments and then printed this one. It's like, oh, okay. It's doing okay. So I'm going to print a part. I was like, alright, I'm going to print a part. This is the part I printed. The extruder started messing up right there in the middle. Right in there. This is some super glue I used to try and strengthen the part. I was going to try and use the part. There I had to first print. The extruder was messing up. So I had to do some research and figure out why. Basically come down, I'll get into that here in a minute. But it's there, the motor's not tuned. The driver motors, or the drivers on the board are not tuned. Okay, thought I got extruder fixed. Designed some of my own parts, printed them off. Like, oh, okay, cool. I think I got the extruder working. Then, here's a part that'll probably really show it. See that? That's not level. Square. On the board. I learned real quick after printing quite a few parts. All those back there. And my board's not even square. These were fails where extruder was acting up again. Where thermistor, I had thermistor problems too. Right out of the box. Thermistor wire was broke. I had to resolder it and the thermistor back onto the wire. Good thing I caught it right away or it burnt my house down. But, you know, they'll deny. They'll claim it's all user. Never mind how things get shipped across the world. Here's another one. Part turned out okay, but nothing was square. Couldn't use it. And then I got into, like all these right here, I got into issues where the system was kicking itself out of axis off time, and I was catching some things quick. This is one I did a strength test to. It, for some reason, it just kicked itself out of axis, and I ended up figuring out it was because the drivers aren't tuned. And so after doing quite a bit of like tuning and learning that to know that the thing straight out of the box is not tuned, start getting some decent prints. all these and this guy, these are all with my actual V6 upgrade. And these back in here, all through here. So I got all my V6 upgrades. And I started going here, and even these is where it was kicking itself out of axis. I mean, wasting material. I went through 4 spools. 1 down there, 2 up here, 3 counting the red. As you can see, those parts, the red ones. Where it was kicking itself, just the constant little problems back to back. And the broken thermistor wire. Let's see where I can. Kind of hard to pull the sheeting back, but you could kind of see my fatter solder in there. I did it to both ends so it wouldn't happen again, because the thing literally was in like thermal meltdown mode, and it didn't even know it. It was going to burn my house down. So those thermistors, as soon as you get them, you might as well just resolder them and fix them, because they're going to probably break on you and you'll hopefully catch it too. They're fans that came with them. The one down here quit working the very first day. Started making a nasty noise. Good thing I bought extra 40 millimeter fans before I got the system for a whole nother project. So I grabbed them and used them on this. And then like the fourth day, the other fan for the extruder up there quit working. So I was down both the fans that originally came with it in 3 days. I had these problems. And I contacted the eBay seller, and I didn't really get a response right away. And so I left a negative review. It's like, save your money, buy another printer. A little upset, so to say. And then they contacted me back right away and seemed like they wanted to know info and how to make me happy. And I knew it getting down to having to ship it back and across, and then where I've already had to do modifications and things to get it running, it's just going to end up being a hassle. And at that point I was like, I'm just going to keep the thing. I've got it working. My upgrade parts had showed up, and with the bed that was out of square, it just, everything that comes with it pre-assembled needs taken apart and put together right, or at least tighten up everything, because they didn't. And I'm going to show you guys a little trick I do for, well, I thought of it today. It'll help.